I don't think I've seen anything quite like this ever in my life. Thousands and thousands of pools of water and salt, making like thousands of infinity pools in a valley here in Peru. I simply cannot believe this place actually exists. Welcome to the salt mines of 𝐒𝐶𝐻𝐿. Good morning guys, and welcome back to another video here from the beautiful country of Peru. And if you doubt whether it's beautiful or not, let me tell you, we are at one of the most beautiful spots in all of Peru. We are actually in the middle of the Sacred Valley, and in the Sacred Valley there is one location that you absolutely have to come and check out, and that is the salt mines of 𝐒𝐶𝐻𝐿. These are thousands and thousands of salt mines carved into a valley here within the Sacred Valley, and you can literally see it sort of goes layer by layer deeper into the valley. Now it's currently like 6:37 in the morning, and shockingly, people are actually up here. People are already working on the salt mines. They are literally pounding down, trying to work. It is incredible how hardworking the Peruvian people are. But we're currently on like the viewpoint, we're currently on the top layer of the salt mines. What we're going to do now is we're going to head down into the salt mines, and you're going to see water just flowing everywhere. It's going to be incredible, and I'm going to tell you guys more about how incredible these salt mines are and the history behind these salt mines. I am standing on the edge of a salt mine, and just look at this view behind me. I just cannot get over the fact that such a place actually exists. And these people, they're like pounding down the salt. They're pounding the water into the salt. And you can hear it when it goes like, it sounds literally like a gunshot in the middle of the valley. So I became really curious as to why they kept beating the salt. Like, there's literally a guy over there, you can see him, he's like taking a sack and he's like ramming it down and ramming it down. So I asked one of the locals here why they do that, and it's actually very interesting. What he says is that the point of doing that is to break up the soil, to break up the ground, because you don't want it to smooth over, because this is all water, right? So when water starts going over the ground, it smooths over everything, it erodes everything, it becomes very smooth. What he said is that in order to have more salt, in order to generate more salt, you want to make sure that the ground is rough, which is why actually when you're walking along here and you touch it, it's super rough. It's actually kind of like hard and very like stepping on Legos kind of feeling. And the reason they want to keep it rough is so that more salt can develop. When you have the ground that's smooth, less salt develops. So in order to make more salt, that's why he keeps beating and beating, which you can hear right now if you're silent. You hear that? It sounds like a gunshot, but actually it's somebody just beating into the ground, the thing, so that they can create more salt here in the mines. But if you just look at all of this here, every pool owned by a family, built to like near perfection. I mean, these are perfect little lots of salt, and you can just see as it extends across the entire valley. It literally goes to the other end of the valley. It is crazy. I just cannot tell you how big this place is. You know, when you look at it on photos, you might think, oh, it's kind of small and everything, but when you actually get here and you start seeing like how much salt is being produced, I mean, look at that valley. Just look at how big it is. It's gonna blow your mind when you come here to realize how expansive this place is. It is just massive. It is so far reaching. Now, unfortunately, the sun is not shining. As you can see, it is a very cloudy day. In fact, the mountains over there are completely covered in clouds, which means that the sun isn't coming out. If the sun were out, from what I understand, the water would be perfect. It would like be clear, the sun would shine on it, and it would be absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, that is not the case today. Nonetheless, it is still beautiful. Even without sunlight, you can still see all the layers and layers of salt pools that are here, and it's still worth a visit no matter what the weather is. You can literally see the way in which the water sort of just runs through here, and then it flows down. It literally flows down and makes sure that every salt mine gets plenty of water so that there's no inequality. So every family is equal. Every family gets as much water as they need to sort of fill it up and get as much salt as possible. It's great engineering, and it, like I said, it's been lasting probably for thousands and hundreds of years since the Incan Empire, and they're still using the same canals that they used hundreds of years ago today. On our way down, we saw this little shed, and you can literally see all the salt is just kept in here in these big, big bundles, and they're just kept inside, and they're kept for storage until they're sold. I can assure you of one thing: Peru is never going to have a salt shortage. They are going to be just fine no matter what happens, because they got a whole reserve of salt right here behind me. They're never going to starve from salt. From here, what we're going to do is we're probably going to head back to our Airbnb. The plan today is actually pretty simple. So we finished the salt mines. The salt mines are beautiful. They are spectacular, and they're something that you absolutely have to see. But our Airbnb is kind of in this midway point between Ollantaytambo, which we saw in the previous video, and Urubamba. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, head back to the Airbnb, pack up our stuff, and we are going to go to our next town of Urubamba. Just a quick stop, just to explore. It's a pretty small town, and then after that, it's going to be Cusco, and that's going to be our time in the Sacred Valley. So let's go ahead, head back down into the valley, and let's get our stuff packed. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Huh? Who's a good boy? We are now on the side of the road, and well, we're hoping for either a colectivo or a motor taxi to take us to the next town of Urubamba. So let's wait and let's see. Urubamba, see? Urubamba? Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. Well, not only was it easy to get a ride, that ride was one of the fastest rides ever. I didn't realize it was like 15 minutes, and then we would be here in the town of Urubamba. Now, I don't really know what to do in Urubamba. We're just gonna go check it out. We're just gonna look around the town. So there's no real plan, sort of just winging it. But let's just go ahead and see what's around in this town. Now, Urubamba is quite different of a city compared to the other towns and villages we've seen here in the Sacred Valley. And the reason for that is that it wasn't really an Incan town. Yes, people lived here, but it wasn't a very important Incan city. It wasn't like Ollantaytambo, which is like literally on the cliffside, a sort of place for the trading routes between the Sacred Valley and into the Amazon. This town wasn't really a thing until the Spanish came, and they really, really built up Urubamba. They really developed Urubamba into the town that it is today, which is why when you look at the way it's built, it's very much square, block by block by block. You've got the Central Plaza, you've got the church. It's a very, very Spanish style architecture, very Spanish style design and planning of the city. And because the Incas didn't really have a really big city here. So thanks to the Spanish, that's why Urubamba exists, but it's very different from the other towns here in the Sacred Valley. I have to say, I've just stumbled into one of the markets here in Urubamba, and I'm just starting to realize exactly how big this city is. Like, there are so many people, and they literally sell everything. When you're in the Sacred Valley and you want something, you need something, and they don't have it in a small town, people usually come to Urubamba to buy it. Like, whether it's like doorknobs or screws or anything like that where you can't really find in, say, Ollantaytambo or some other town in the Sacred Valley, you come here, because this is sort of like the main central area of the Sacred Valley, thanks to the Spanish building it and sort of serving it as like a trade post. It's where you get everything. Anything that you need that's modern, you're gonna get it here. I think after walking around the town for a while, I'm starting to realize that Urubamba is not really a tourist place. There's not really sights or things to see. Now, of course, you take day trips out of Urubamba, you go to, for example, the salt mines, or you go to the mountains around Urubamba, you go hike there. That's what people usually do. But in the town of Urubamba itself, it's kind of just a city. It's kind of just like any other city. It's where locals come to buy things, buy the ingredients they need for the smaller towns that they go to. But aside from that, it's not really a place to like spend a lot of time at. So because of that, I think that's going to be it for this video. I know it's not the longest video, but the main goal today was just to see the salt mines and sort of end here at Urubamba. From here, we're going back to Cusco. So that is going to be it for this video. For me, the salt mines in Maras are incredible. They are truly something you should wake up early for. You should go alone for. It's not worth going on a tour. You should do that alone, and it is just one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever seen, not only in Peru but in the world. It's just like tons and tons of infinity pools. It almost kind of reminds me of Pamukkale in Turkey, except the color here is a little bit redder. It's not like pure turquoise blue, and that's simply because the mud, the salt, all those colors mixing together creates this sort of reddish color on the ground. But for me, it's an incredible place, and it's definitely worth a visit when you're here in Peru. But anyways, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We're going to have a lot more videos coming from Peru. We've got food videos, we've got travel videos, we've got other destinations in Peru we're going to. And I'm really excited to share that all with you guys. So make sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.